Prepare, respond, serve. This is 5 Stone.
Hey guys, and welcome back to 5 Stone. This is our Motivational Monday podcast. This is a podcast you can come to weekly or multiple times throughout the week. If you need to reflect back on it, share the podcast with other people. It'll try to give you some drive and motivation. You know, motivation is kind of comes and goes, and drive is what's more persistent. But this motivational podcast is to kind of give you something to keep your drive going, to kind of dial into weekly or as often as you need it. So feel free to share this podcast with other people that may want to hear this. Today's podcast is going to be a difficult podcast to discuss. It's made to motivate you guys, but it's also going to be to unveil some personal issues that John Conover here on the podcast today, one of our 5 Stone Pro staff or paramedics, has recently dealt with. And the reason we want to share this, and he's willing to share this and kind of open up to this, it's personal and it's hard to talk about and discuss, but if it helps other people, that's what 5 Stone's about, and that's Absolutely. What we want to help. So the whole world is dealing with the same thing right now.
Yep.
You kind of got a different perspective because dealing with COVID on the streets daily as a medic, as a medical professional, and then having your own family come down with COVID. You yourself had it, your wife had it, but your grandmother just passed away 3 days ago.
Yep.
And here he sits across the table with the mask on, just like I am, still having the drive and the push to try to help other people overcome.
Yep.
We want you all to listen to this story and take into effect kind of how society is kind of turning and how can you have the drive and the hope for your family and our country and our community and push people through and to be motivated through times of struggle and suffering. Because honestly, man, if it wasn't for struggle and suffering, you would never grow.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't. Mm-hmm. If everything was cakewalk, you'd be weak.
Yep.
You know, I read a book here recently, and it said soft lands develop soft people.
Mm-hmm.
Hard times develop hard people. You know, and so your experiences and everybody else's experiences that we're going through right now with all this COVID crap is making us stronger. It's developing a more resilient, tougher society. Even though we may not feel like it, in the end, they're going to look back at the generation and going to be like, what happened in 2020? And how did they overcome this? Because we're going to overcome it.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not only in struggle for our health, but our freedoms and our rights. And it's so dynamic.
Yeah.
So anyway, man, give some people a background of your story and how you think today's society's kind of got a quit mentality, you know?
Yeah.
And how you think that we can motivate people to keep pushing through these hard times.
Well, actually, I misspoke. She actually passed away Sunday. We buried her 3 days ago.
Oh, okay.
So that was my
Sorry, that was my fault.
It's been a hectic week.
Yeah.
Not only that, but while my grandmother was in the COVID unit dying, my father-in-law was in the same COVID unit.
Oh my gosh.
So we were kind of, fighting this battle on both fronts in our home, which was extremely strange, something I've never experienced before. But let me start out by talking about COVID for a second.
Okay.
The COVID we were dealing with just a couple months ago is not the same COVID we're dealing with today.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
People were doing much better a few months ago. I had it almost 4 months ago. Did fine with it. Our household had it. Minimal problems. Just we had the flu for a week pretty much. But now I don't know if it's mutated or what, but it's people's getting hit differently with it.
Yeah.
My father-in-law got sick, and he's one of them stubborn, hard-headed old EMS guys. Worked EMS in the 80s and 90s, and just don't go to the hospital for nothing. Just like we ain't gonna go to the hospital for anything either unless it's real bad. And he called in the middle of the night. I couldn't breathe and I had to go to the hospital. Of course, my grandmother was already in at that point. But my grandma, she thrives off of people. There's somebody always at her house or she's always visiting someone.
Yeah.
And I think getting in that isolation really dampened that fight that
Yeah.
most people have. When you get faced with a very bad disease or illness or whatever, I think all of us has a little fight in us,
Yeah.
some more than others. But when you immediately start that fight by yourself with no option of having anybody with you, that's tough.
Yeah, it would want to pull your hope.
Yeah.
Because most people, unless you're in a situation to where you don't have family,
Mm-hmm.
you live for your family.
Yeah.
You fight for your family. You work and you serve for your family. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or if it's not your family, it's your friends
Yeah.
or whatever it might would be. You know what I'm saying? That's the general theme. So you put somebody like that and you put them in an isolation unit,
Yeah.
and all they can do is FaceTime people. You feel like this is the end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you take away somebody's hope and passion and push and drive,
Yeah.
and it changes.
Well, think about prison. So you're in prison with, murderers and rapists and all the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And the worst thing they can do to you to punish you is put you in isolation.
That's a good point, man.
That says a lot.
That
and
does.
we're doing
That's
that
a
to
good point.
We're
I've
doing,
never thought about that.
We are doing that to the people that are fighting for their lives.
Yeah. And on the flip side of it, I mean, what else do you do? That's the thing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they've got to have care, and you don't want to, affect other people. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just a debate. Like what?
Yeah. Well, I spoke with an ER nurse the other night, and he actually took care of my father-in-law while he was in the ER at Glasgow, and we had the same conversation. It's like, we have to try to control this disease, and I feel like at some level, like we're all gonna get it regardless. I've heard stories of people that have been isolated, locked up in their homes since the beginning, and still they still come down with it.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy at work that sit in the ambulance bay by himself around the clock while he's on duty with an N95 mask on, and he still caught it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like there's no rules. Like you're just gonna get it. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
So we kind of had this conversation, like, well, maybe we should take that in consideration. If you're gonna have it, you're gonna get it. Or if you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. And we're separating them from the people that they're gonna be in the home with on a regular basis anyway. So why not let them immediate family come in the room with them? To try to help them fight. Because I feel like, we kind of both felt like we're almost pushing them closer to death, to dying, when we put them in a room by themselves.
By depriving their hope, kind of. Yeah. Man, that's tough. That's very hard. And I don't think anybody really has an answer. You try to base things off of science and off of evidence, and there's so many conflicting things out there.
Well, it's just it. There's overwhelming evidence on both sides. Masks probably help, but there's also overwhelming evidence that nothing works.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people are maybe catching this by the disease living on the surfaces or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm telling you, there's no rules of this. But I feel like we gotta take this fight to a different angle on how we're treating our patients.
And I think, part of this motivation thing is people are getting tired.
Yeah.
People are getting wore out. People are getting tired of not seeing their family. The holidays are here. They've already missed Thanksgiving.
It's a tough time, man.
Yeah, and then you've got Christmas coming up, and they don't know what to do. We're still torn trying to figure out what to do. We don't want family to think we don't want to be with them. And it's so hard. And everybody's seeing this death and dying and negativity on the news and the new numbers coming out and all this stuff. How do you think we can really motivate these people to keep up the fight? Like, we see people in a medical profession who are fighting for their life daily.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's having a heart attack, whether it's a trauma, whether it's a cancer patient, whatever it is. And we see people sometimes who have no will to fight. We have a population, a generation that's kind of gotten soft, okay? We've allowed it to get soft, and a lot of these people just want to give up, and they just want to quit. You know, and I'm not saying that your grandmother wanted that by any means. I don't mean that.
Yeah.
I just mean as a general population, we have some people. It's just like I'm just tired. I'm just tired of it. So I'm just going to go do whatever I want to do. Well, that's careless and can hurt other people, right?
Yeah.
I'm never wearing a mask. I'm gonna be a hard ass, and I'm gonna take my mask off and cough all over everybody.
Yeah.
That's just irresponsible and stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, you're not going to take my freedom, so I'm not going to wear a mask because you can't make me.
That's a fine line to walk.
Yeah, well, I understand you don't want to take your freedoms, but you can still have some respect for other people and try to avoid risk, especially from the high risk and stuff. So with all this stuff going on, man, like, what do you think people need to cling to? What do you think people need to hope for and to really have that drive?
So I think just like in any other high stress situation, when you get told that you've got a fatal disease or possibly fatal disease, I've seen when you tell people these things, they zone out.
Yep.
Like they'll just, I almost think they develop some sort of tunnel vision, and they're like, all they're focused on is this death sentence that they just got. But I think if you take a step back and pull yourself together, that you can look around and see that there's a lot of stuff worth fighting for.
Yeah.
You know, like for instance, you know, like when I found the spot on my lung, and you helped me, you know, work through our treatment plan and stuff like that. And it sucked for like a day or two. I was super scared and didn't really know what to do. But from advice that I had early in my career, like I just like, okay, hold up. Let's process this. And I looked around. It's like, I got 2 little boys to live for. I got a wife, you know. And that motivation, you know, helped me prepare for the fight. Helped me get ready for the fight. So I, you know, the piece of advice I talked about is years ago, when I was in basic training, people, you talk about, you know, getting a gunfight, people get tunnel vision. So basically they said, like, just relax and wiggle your toes. They said that your toes are the last thing, get the last thing at the end of your nervous system.
Yeah.
So if you can relax your toes and wiggle them, then your whole nervous system is getting relaxed. And just start from there. So that's, and to be honest with you, like on bad runs, when nothing's going right or I can't figure out what to do next, like that's what I'll do. I'll just sit back and take a look at my patient. Like, let's take this one bite at a time.
There you go.
And start over.
That's good, man.
Sometimes you need that time out for a second.
Yeah.
To get a game plan.
Yeah. I had a patient come to the ER one day, and she had cancer, and I think maybe we diagnosed her that day, or maybe she was previously diagnosed and it was getting worse. I can't remember what it was, but she was just so down and distraught, and she was just like, "This is it. I'm done. I'm tired of fighting. I'm not fighting anymore." That's what she told me. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm done. I'm giving up. And I told her, I said, what's worth fighting for? What is worth fighting for? And she was like, well, my family and, you know, my husband and my kids. And I was like, okay, are they worth giving up for? No. So why are you wanting to give up?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have one more day left, one more hour left, and they needed you, would you just stop? We tell our people that we train, you know, when they're tired, they're wanting to quit, they're wanting to give up and not, you know, complete the next mission, complete the next drill, the next exercise, whatever it is. Well, I can't do it. I'm just tired. Well, okay. So I'm going to lay this mannequin over there. That's your kid who just got burned up, or your kid who just had a trauma or a gunshot or whatever it is. Lay right here and watch them die. Well, I would never do that. Well, then quit doing it now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the drive. People have a shut-off switch.
Yeah.
I'm done. I can't go any farther. I can't push anymore. We need to get over that as a society and over this and being like, well, the government's mandating this. I just give up and I just quit.
Well, listen, man, I've witnessed in the last few years the shaming on the term, suck it up or man up. Like there's some people pushing the agenda that's you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say to people to man up or to suck it up because it's it's bad for some odd reason. I mean, that's a good tool.
Yeah, it is.
We've all been in those situations where somebody has told us, "Bro, man up.
Yeah,
suck it up.
Well, being a pansy, man, get after it. Yeah,
yeah. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Tie your hat down.
Yeah,
and get back to work."
And of course, you can be like AOC and be like, "It's impossible to pick yourself up by your bootstraps."
Yeah, whatever.
No, but guys, if you're listening to this podcast, seriously, this world, this hard time that we're dealing with is like nothing we've ever seen before. This man right here has contracted COVID. His family's gotten COVID. He just buried his grandmother from COVID. He treats people with COVID, transports people with COVID. I do the same thing as a healthcare provider. Everybody's tired. Everybody's overwhelmed. There's struggles with family and meeting with family, doing this, and we get it. Don't get out of the fight.
Yep.
You're never out of the fight. If you've got one more minute, one more hour, one more day, one more week, whatever it might would be, you push. And you push and you fight. You collect yourself, you wiggle your toes, and you sit back and you be like, you know what? I got this. I'm going to reanalyze my situation. We're going to get everything together. My finances are destroyed because I'm losing my job because of COVID. Yeah. Okay. Cut out the unessentials. Cut out some things that you need and keep on the fight.
Yeah.
Religiously, if you're not where you need to be at, that's a huge tool. That's your hope.
Yeah.
That's a hope that so many people have, that they pull through critical terminal illnesses, supposedly, then all of a sudden they're better.
Yeah.
I knew a lady, she was a former boss of mine, who was diagnosed with cancer. Her tumor markings were up in her lab work. They opened her up and found, they said, the inside of her lower abdominal cavity looked like somebody put Quikrete in there from all this cancer, and all this stuff was just growing.
Yeah.
Sewed her back up. You have to go to a certain special cancer surgeon, like within a 2-week period or something. So she goes to this place. She doesn't give up. At first she did. And I was like, no, you do not ever give up. You fight, you fight, you fight, you fight, you fight. So she started getting all these people together, started praying. They went back and opened her back up. It was all gone.
Really?
All of it. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
And she's fine now. There was never a treatment done.
Sometimes you have to fight your battles on your knees.
Exactly. You're exactly right. So there is hope. There is faith is so important. There is prayer. There is turning on, I'm not trying to turn it to a spiritual podcast, but you rely on God, because those are powers that we don't have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you lose hope, when you lose drive, and you lose this stuff, you got to get it. You got to keep after it, and you got to find somebody else to give you that resource. Yeah. Hopefully, Five Stone can help you. Yeah. But it may be your pastor, it may be your wife, your husband, your kids, even best friends. I know I can call on you. You can be like, dude, you're being an idiot. Get your stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'll get it together and we'll be on the right page. But guys, just don't give up.
Yeah. Let me end with one thing.
Absolutely, man.
So when it got real hard for my father-in-law, he didn't text me, but he did send a text to my wife. And paraphrasing is like, I don't know how much more I can take. It was bad for him for a few days. Yeah. So I found a couple things from Jocko, and like this, I'm bringing it up here. This is what I sent to him. So a couple of quotes from Jocko. So go down swinging, and I'll tell you, if you fight with all you have, more often than not, you won't go down at all. You'll win.
Say it again.
Go down swinging, and I'll tell you, if you fight with all you have, more often than not, you won't go down at all. You'll win. And the next one I sent him says, the darkness cannot extinguish your light or your will, your determination. No matter what is happening, no matter how hard the fight is, as long as you keep fighting, you win.
That's it, man.
Yep.
As long as you keep fighting, you win.
Yep.
You can lose on the battlefield. You can lose, technically lose a battle for cancer.
Yep.
Lose a battle for COVID. But if you never give up, you die a warrior.
Yep.
And warriors don't lose.
Yep.
Fighters may lose, but warriors don't.
Yep. Exactly right.
Man, that's powerful. That's
Yep.
good stuff.
You can lose long before you die.
That's true, man. As soon as you give up, you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to look at it.
That's excellent, man. Yeah.
Fight to your last breath.
That's it. Guys, hopefully this podcast help you all rely on each other. Rely on your family, rely on your friends, your loved ones, your church, those strongholds. Keep the faith, keep the hope, keep fighting. Never get out of the fight.
Yep.
No matter how bad this gets. Because, like we say here, when you prepare yourself and your mind and your mentality and your spirit, that helps you to respond when situations arise. Prepare, respond, serve. That's our creed.
Yep.
You're responding. You're serving not only yourself, but you're serving your family by helping them get prepared, helping to motivate them and to push them and to drive them and let them know that everything's going to be okay. You're serving your community. You're serving your workplace, whatever it might would be. You're serving other people other than just yourself.
Yeah.
And you're setting that example. That warrior ethos almost is you're carrying that on through.
Yeah.
So that's what we're all about, man.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, that is our podcast for this Motivational Monday. We really hope that it helps you guys. Please share it, send it around, because there's a lot of people that's struggling right now.
Yep.
And you can check us out on 5stoneusa.com. The social media websites, podcast sites are up and going now. So we look forward to getting more out and hearing from you guys. If you need something from us, shoot us a message or an email. We'll get back with you as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much, and we'll check next time.
Right on.
All right, man.
This has been a production of 5 Stone. Guys, we thank you so much for taking time out of your day to support us. We cannot thank you enough. Please check us out at 5stoneusa.com. If you're in need of training, supplies, gear, information, whatever it might be, that's our main hub right there. We're also on YouTube and all the social media networks. You can check us out there. If you're in need for training, you're looking for something in particular, reach out to us and let us know. If it's not on the website, we'll do what we can to provide it for you guys, for your organization, your church, your school, whatever it might be. We're here to help you guys. We appreciate all of your support. Remember, discipline is readiness. And also always prepare, respond, and serve. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day and be safe out there.